Will Manchester United need a new manager in the summer since Michael Carrick's an interim manager? Let's get straight into it because this has brought up a lot of discussion all over social media and on podcasts. What does Carrick need to do to solidify the job to make sure that he is the man for Manchester United, right? Because the reason they signed Michael Carrick and not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted a guarantee that he would get the job if he hit certain requirements. That's why they didn't give it to him. But Michael Carrick came in. He said, "I'll take the interim job only, and we'll go from there. If you don't want to keep me, I'll leave." And that's what Michael Carrick did. And the way Michael Carrick has started, the way Michael Carrick has these players playing, came out of nowhere. We didn't believe this would happen right away because when Amarim got fired, the next games were City and Arsenal, and they just won both those games. Which under Amarim, I think they would have lost at least one of them because in big games, Manchester United always shows up. But Michael Carrick has them playing not only winning but playing and performing at a very high level. You can see Bruno playing amazing. You see Mainu, Casemiro connecting. You see Dorgu coming out of nowhere with goals and assists and good performances. You see Cunha coming in and having a big say in the team. You see Embuemo scoring goals again. You see Embuemo having good performances. Amad Diallo. You see Harry Maguire back in the mix, Lisandro back, back four, three midfielders and three attackers. Michael Carrick has them playing was pretty much his Manchester United DNA because at first you think of Manchester United DNA and you think is that just Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but when you see how they play, you literally say that is the way Manchester United are meant to play. That is how they always played, and that is the Man United style. That is their DNA. And I feel like it's hard to get that with different coaches, right? Michael Carrick knows the plays, he knows the style, he knows he's a leader, he won leagues, he won the Champions League, I believe, with United. And he's a winner. He's a winner and he knows the club very well. But he's an interim manager right now. In the summer, I think they're weighing in on different options. You have the World Cup coaches coming out of their international teams, right? You have Thomas Tuchel, Nagelsmann. You have Luis Enrique, who is uncertain at PSG right now. You have different managers moving around in this summer, right after the World Cup. So, are they waiting for one of those managers? Well, are they thinking of someone else? And to be honest, I think that the only way, the best case scenario, right? Let's say Michael Carrick finishes top four or top four, right? Let's say he gets Champions League. Michael Carrick gets Champions League, and he has been performing well at a consistent basis against big teams, against mid-table teams, against lower-table teams, right? Because United always struggled with the mid-table and lower teams because for the bigger games they show up for those, but for the other ones they kind of lose track. But let's say best case scenario, top four performing at a very good level. What do you do in the summer? Because in my opinion, I think if he gets that top four and performing the way they've been performing these last two games, the only way you could really take him out or move on from him is if you get a top level manager. You get a Luis Enrique, you get that's probably honestly it. If you get your hands on Luis Enrique, then that would be, by Michael Carrick, thank you for what you did, but Luis Enrique is gonna come in and start his project, right? Because I don't see United coming in and replacing Michael Carrick with an Iraola, with an Oliver Glasner. I don't think these are coaches that are maybe Iraola, but I think they still need that mid-table team, right? Because Bournemouth and Crystal Palace, even though they are very good teams at the moment, genuinely speaking, their standards are probably between 12th and 15th, right? They're nothing higher, and it's different pressures. You see it with Tottenham's coach. You see how he's struggling. You see, when Graham Potter was at Chelsea, it's different pressures and different teams. And these managers haven't really faced that type of pressure. We haven't seen Oliver Glasner in a Newcastle and an Aston Villa. These are closer levels to the United and to the top table teams. We haven't seen Iraola with the Newcastle at Tottenham. I think Iraola might be a next manager for Newcastle if they get rid of Eddie Howe. But back to the point, I think you would only replace him if Luis Enrique was in. That would be a guarantee. And even with the Thomas Tuchel, it's different. I don't think it's a guarantee Tuchel and Michael Carrick out type of thing because when you look at Thomas Tuchel, he always has problems with the higher ups. He always has problems with the board. At Chelsea, he had problems. At PSG, I'm pretty sure he had problems as well. Bayern, he had problems with the board and the players, and the way the Man United board is, it's very similar to the Chelsea board in the way that they want to manage the players that come in. They want to say have the biggest say in who comes in and who leaves. They have want to have a big say, and Thomas Tuchel wants to get control of the whole team. And United's board right now is very similar to Chelsea's board in that sense. So I think they would butt heads very quickly. They would butt heads very fast, and different things. Thomas Tuchel might want a player, but the board wants another player. It's very Thomas Tuchel has had a lot of problems with other boards, right? And then you think of the Zerbi, who is a very good manager that I rate very highly. But once again, he always has problems with the board and with the players. Then you think of Nagelsmann, who had a good stand United, but once again, that United team wasn't too well. So I think his Nagelsmann and his IQ of building a team is very high because he helped build that team. But then he got fired. And what other teams? He had Leipzig. He had Leipzig playing at a high level. But this is Manchester United, right? And I think that Bayern job he got rid of pretty quickly when they found out Thomas Tuchel was available. So it's a weird thing. I think the only guarantee Michael Carrick out and someone in would be Luis Enrique, because Thomas Tuchel, there's too many questions around him with the board problems and his style of football. Does it fit United's style? I don't think so. And then you look at the Zerbi, does the style fit? Yes, but does he have always problems with players in the board? Yes. Then you think, like I said, Nagelsmann, is he? Does he have that Man United DNA? Does he know what? Does I think his playing style is very possession based, move the ball around, try to break a team down. When you look at what Man United is meant to be, and it's high flying wingers, cross the cut in, cross the ball. It's very very transitional football based, and I don't think that's Nagelsmann. Look at all these managers, and like I said, Michael Carrick knows the team. He knows the pressures of the team. He's managed United in 5 games over his 2 stints, and he's won all of them. Against Pep, against Arteta, he faced I think it was Thomas Tuchel at the time. He faced big managers, big teams in those 5 games, and they look at his past team, and they question him, but you just genuinely can't replace Michael Carrick if he gets top four with an Raiola or a Glasner, because I don't think there's such a big difference between both of them. I think Oliver Glasner's type of football, it doesn't fit Man United. He's very pragmatic. He's very stay at the back. He either plays 5-3-2, or he plays 4-4-2, and it's not Man United style. And then you look at Raiola, I think he's still missing another step. I think he's missing a Newcastle. I think he's missing a Villa, maybe even a Tottenham. He's missing that high mid-level section of teams. And then I think the only guarantee of Michael Carrick leaving and the manager coming in with Michael Carrick finishing fourth and everything would be a Luis Enrique. But how hard will it be to get Luis Enrique from a PSG? How hard will it be? Even with the Thomas Tuchel, there's questions. I think even with the De Zerbi, there's questions. With the Nagelsmann, there's questions. Eddie Howe, again, questions. He hasn't, and it's just a weird thing. We really got to see how the games go, because it's not a guarantee that Michael Carrick is going to play and perform like this every game, right? He'll have his drop offs, and what happens the game after they have had a loss, right? Will they come back and go for it? What will they do, right? Me personally, like I said, if you asked me, Michael Carrick top four, performing amazing, lost only a couple of games, had him performing at a very high level, going for the wins, even when they're risking for the win, even if they lose, right? Going for it. I think from an outsider looking in, if he gets top four and hasn't performing very well, the only real replacements for him to go to level up would be a Luis Enrique, maybe a Tuchel, maybe a De Zerbi, right? But if he gets top four and hasn't performing very well and hasn't performing in the Manchester United DNA for the rest entire of the season, I don't think you can replace him with an Oliver Glasner or an Raiola, because they're missing that extra step. And Oliver Glasner's football is too pragmatic, and Raiola, I think he's still missing the other high mid-table team, right? So yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's see how United go from the outside looking in. I think this is a very, very interesting thing to see. So let's see how United do, and let's see what they do in the summer after the World Cup.